Hello everyone. So I just filmed myself going through the equivalent quiz, or what I thought was the equivalent quiz. It wasn't, it was the real quiz. So I'm going to film myself again. Let me just explain this. Miss Hannah Garza made this, and I called her Hannah yesterday, and she said, "No, Mr. Corbett, it's Hannah." So I left this up to embarrass you, but I think it's kind of funny. Okay, let's dive into the problems. This is problem 1 here. The measure of angle W is 56 degrees. What is the measure in degrees of an angle that is complementary to angle W? I am going to make this just a little bit bigger. 1 second. View, zoom, page width. That's nicer. Okay. So I know that Mr. Corbett says this all the time, and drives me crazy. Complementary corner and supplementary straight. Now, you may be one of the students who is thinking to themselves, what does that mean? Mr. Corbett says it a lot, but I do not know what it means. It means complementary corner. Two angles that add up to 2 angles that add up to 90 degrees. It makes a corner here. Supplementary straight, how many degrees is that? It's a straight angle, so it's 180 degrees. Complementary corner and supplementary straight. Therefore, here in this problem, it's complementary. So we know that we're trying to solve for W, and one of them is 56. So it's going to be W plus 56 is equal to, it's complementary corner, 90. So now, solving for this, we're going to subtract 56 from both sides to isolate the W. These cancel. W is equal to 34 degrees. Now, if I put my answer here, that would be incorrect. It would be 0.34. That's a very, very small angle. Make sure that you put your answer here and you bubble it in neatly and correctly. I could have done the neater job there. 3 and 4. If you want to put zeros here, you may. It will not make it wrong, but you don't need to. This would be correct. 34. The answer is 34. The next problem asks for supplementary angles. An angle measures 68 degrees. Write an equation that can be used to determine x, the value of an angle that is supplementary to this angle. Then solve for x. So we have one angle that is 68, and we're trying to solve for x, and we're trying to find its supplement. So the supplementary angles, I know, add up to 180 degrees, and we're trying to solve for x, and one of the angles is given as 68. So boom, there I just answered the first part of the question, which is write an equation that will allow us to solve for x. Now, Mr. Corbett wants us to solve for x, so we're going to subtract 68 from both sides. What I do to one side, I must do to the other. These cancel. X is equal to 112. And that is my answer. Okay, now the next problem. Which of the following pairs of angles is vertical? Well, darn. Hold on, everyone. I'm sorry, I forgot that I drew it in. Okay, so it looks something like this. This is A, this is B, C, D, E, F, and G. Okay. These little arrows, by the way, just mean that the lines go on forever. Okay, so the first answer choice is angle AGC. and DGE. Okay, well, let's try each one. So angle AGC is this angle right here, goes from here all the way to here, and angle DGE, which goes from here to here. Well, they do seem almost opposite from each other, but not quite. For vertical angles to actually be vertical angles, they need to satisfy two things. One, they must be opposite from each other. And two, they use the same two lines. Okay, well, so these kind of seem like they use the same two lines, but this angle uses this line here and this line here, but this angle uses this line and this line. They don't use the same lines. So I know that answer A cannot be my answer choice. Okay, now let's try answer choice B, which is angle CGB and angle EGD. So CGB is right here, and EGD is right here. Now this is one that also kind of looks like they're very similar, but this angle right here is using these two lines. So if we continue these two lines, they use these two lines. So the correct vertical angle for this angle would have been here. So I know that answer choice B is also not correct. Let's try C, angle F, G, E, and angle BGC. That is a terrible G. Okay, an angle BGC. So angle FGE, this angle right here, and BGC. This looks pretty promising. So they use the same lines, and they are opposite from each other. This is my answer choice. But just to make sure, let's make sure that D is not correct. F, G, A, and angle DGB. Okay, so we have angle FGA right here, and DGB, which goes through the line. So they are somewhat opposite, but they don't use the same lines. This angle is much bigger than this angle right here, so it's not D. The answer choice is C. Okay, we have two more problems. The following angles of a triangle are given. Find the value of x. So the triangle looks like... Oh no. Dear God, I'm sorry. Okay, I need to make a sharper angle here. There. Okay, that looks somewhat similar. This is 124 degrees. This is x degrees. And this is 24 degrees. Okay, so I know that this is probably a good thing to put in your notes. If you do put in your notes, you're taking one step up the hierarchy of learning, because writing down is a form of learning. The sum of all interior angles means inside interior angles of a triangle add to 180 degrees. So, knowing that, we can set all these equal. If we add them all up, it should equal 180. So we will have, that's my school phone, x plus 24 plus 124 we're going to add these two here, and that is x is equal to x plus 148 is equal to 180. And now that came from right here. Subtract 148 from both sides, and that gives me x is equal to 30, and 1 minus 1 is 0. X is equal to 32. Okay, last problem. So for problem 5, pictured below is an isosceles triangle. Isosceles means exactly two sides are congruent. Two sides, you can probably write this down, even in your test right there. Two sides are congruent, also meaning equal, and two angles are congruent, or also known as equal. Important, exactly two sides, exactly. You could say an equilateral triangle has two equal sides and congruent. Well, that's true, but it's not isosceles. So an isosceles triangle has exactly and only two. So one is different than the other. So the triangle looks something like this. So these two angles here are congruent, and these two sides are congruent. This angle and this side, those are the ones that aren't like the other. So angle B is equal to 3x plus 2. I'm not going to scroll down for answer choice B. I'm just going to do it all up here. First they ask for the equation, and then they ask to solve for x. So if I know that angle B is 3x plus 2, and I'm going to write it in here, then I know that this angle is equal to it, so then I know that this also must be 3x plus 2. So, if the sum of all interior angles of a triangle add up to 180 degrees, then this is my equation. 180 is equal to 3x plus 2 plus 3x plus 2 plus 65. So now let's add the x terms first. How many total x's do we have? Well, we have 3 x's here and 3 x's here. So we have a total of 6x. By the way, we're doing such a fantastic job of combining like terms. It makes me so happy as a teacher. And we are doing such an incredible job with two-step equations. It makes me so happy as a teacher. Okay, we have 6x. And now we're going to add the 2 and the 65. So that's going to be 4 plus 65 plus 69. Kimberly McGoy asked a fantastic question. She said, I understood every single step, but I didn't understand where you got this number. So I'm going to draw little arrows where all of these numbers came from. She was using Corbett Academy exactly how I want her to use it. She didn't understand one step. She asked a question, and her question was very pointed, and it was able for me to address it right away. Okay, so we have 180 is equal to 6x plus 69. So we'll take care of the subtraction or the addition first. Subtract 69 from both sides. What I do to one side, I must do to the other. Now we have, I'm just going to bring these cancel out. 180 minus 69. It's 1, 1, and 1. 111 is equal to 6x. Did I seriously give this to you? God, I'm sorry. I should have made it a little bit easier division. I'm sorry. Divided by 6. These cancel. So now I'm just going to divide 111 by 6. 6 goes into 11 one times. 6 times 1 is 6. Minus, that begets 5. Bring down the 1. 6 goes into 51. 8 times. 6 times 8 is 48. Oh, actually, it's not so bad. Minus 51 minus 48 is 3. Point, bring down the 0. is, how many times does 6 go into 35? So my answer is 18.5. So this is the answer for 5B, and here the equation is for part A. 15 minutes, a long video. Thank you so much for your cooperation, and you guys are awesome.